Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. Well, King Be Cruel, the funny part about it is, because he's saying it's weird that some people move away from their parents, that I guess a lot of people live in a way that I want to be near my family for the rest of my life, right? If you want to know the truth of the matter, here's the truth of the matter. When I moved out here 9 years ago, okay, my aunt still lived out here, okay? And basically, here's what the plan was. My aunt was much older than my mother, all right? So, by like 20 plus years. Yeah, my aunt is much older than my mother. So the plan, my aunt had lived out here in Washington her whole life and really liked it. And she had said, you know, all kinds of stuff about how nice it was out here and everything. And actually, at one point, my mother had gone on a vacation to spend time with her sister out here in Washington and really enjoyed it. So essentially, everything was, Washington's nice. We all kind of wish we could live out there. So the plan was supposed to be that I was going to move out here and then rent out my condo in Connecticut for a while until the value went up and I was going to sell it off. And then eventually everyone was supposed to move out here, like my parents too. Like that was the plan. Like we were all supposed to gradually move out here kind of one by one, you know, in groups until everyone lived in Washington. What ended up happening, sadly, was not that. What ended up happening was I moved out here and then within like 2 or 3 years of me living out here, my aunt's health took a big turn for the worse. And it looked like my aunt might not make it much longer. And she wanted to be close to family, but my parents had not planned on moving out here yet. And they had no game plan or strategy for it. So my aunt moved to Connecticut. And at first, she lived in my condo. She lived there for several years in my condo as a tenant and was actually paying me rent to kind of live there for many years. Which was nice because it was extra income for me to offset the cost of that condo. But then she ended up like getting really, really ill, and they had to put her into hospice care. And then she ended up within a year or two of that passed away. So basically, kind of all of that stuff got thrown into like a big loop, a big problem, because our plans kind of fell apart based on my parents didn't move fast enough to move out here, which they should have. That was the plan, is that they wanted to move out here within a couple of years, and they never did, and that's their fault. And then my aunt's health turning and her moving to Connecticut instead, and then her health getting worse and worse and passing away, and that kind of really changed everyone's plans. Now it's too late. Now, I told you, my parents, they have all these health problems. They can't even like move or travel if they wanted to. They're not supposed to. They're not allowed. So, yeah. It's just messed up. Like they're kind of stuck there forever now in Connecticut. So it's like we weren't supposed to be apart forever. It would have been nice if they could have moved out here. Maybe they could have lived even in this community. There's been house openings, or maybe they could have lived. I mean, there's apartments. There's all kinds of stuff nearby where they could have been, and we could have all been within arm's reach. It would have been perfect. But for some reason, it didn't work out. And, you know, I was the one that followed the plan. That's correct. They're on the no-fly list. They're not allowed to fly. I just said health reasons. For health reasons, they would never be able to travel. All kinds of issues. Radical Jaws did a super chat. He says, I'm glad you don't dwell on it. Yeah, I mean, what can you do? Listen, life is life. Things happen in life that don't go according to plan, and you roll with it the best you can. Would I love to be near my parents right now and be able to see them once a week, spend time with them? I mean, my wife has only met them once. We talk all the time. Every week we have a conversation, you know, all together. But she's only met them in person once. And we've been married for many years. You know what I mean? Would I love to have that relationship with them? Of course I would. I loved going and seeing them for the holidays and spending time with the family. You know, my mother always having a nice house full of warm food and great scents and everything. And, you know, yeah, I do miss that. But it's life. That wasn't the plan. The plan wasn't, oh, move away permanently forever and never see them. You know, that wasn't supposed to be what was supposed to happen, but shit happens, right? Okay. Game Genie says he's loving the Armored Core playthrough. He's tried using this new build I'm using and it rocks. He loves it. No, you know, and I firmly believe that. Like Phaser says, life worked itself out in the end. You went across the country, you ended up becoming single, but then you met your wife and it was in the cards. Exactly. If things didn't work out the way that they did, I never would have met my wife. And I would not be in a happy, healthy home life that is such the... I keep telling you guys this, and I hope you really believe me when I say it. This is the best time of my life. Right now, this moment, these times I'm living now are the best time of my life. When I was younger, I wasn't nearly as happy as I am today. Every day that I spend with my family here, we have a great time together. It's really amazing. And I'm like, this is what I've kind of always wanted. I just didn't know it until I had it. Once I got it, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I wouldn't ever want to be without this. This is so good, you know? And I think a lot of people are in that same boat. They kind of don't know what they're missing because they never had that really positive experience of having a loving family. I hate to say it, you know? I mean, yes, when I was with my parents, that's one thing. But to actually have a relationship with another person or whatever, and a family unit, it feels amazing. So I really do feel like you're right. As sad as it is that I don't get to see my parents a lot, I never would have the actual family life that I have now if I didn't go through what I went through. You know what I mean? So it all work. You're right. It does work out in the end, for sure.
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.